Good morning or afternoon, everyone. I am Jeffrey Moss from Parker Dewey. I'm joined today by Allison Hill from Rourke Capital. Really excited to talk a little bit about the WAVE Micro-Internship program. I know our friends from the Women's Association of Venture and Equity have shared a little bit about this program already and the success that they found last year when they introduced it, and they're excited about the continued success. And I think we're all here because we believe in the importance of creating equitable pathways for individuals interested in finance, whether it's those students who haven't yet considered roles in financial services broadly, or those students who are passionate about it and looking for opportunities to explore or get their foot in the door if they didn't go to the quote unquote right school, have the right major, etc. And that's one of the reasons, again, I'm so excited about WAVE's micro-internship program. So what we're going to do today is go through real quickly what the WAVE micro-internship program is and how it works. Allison from Rourke will talk a little bit about how she introduced it at Rourke last year and some of the success, and then we'll quickly hit some next steps. To the extent you have questions, please feel free to use the chat. We'll try to hit them along the way. Yes, the presentation will be made available afterwards, both as a recording and the PDF. And with that, let's get rolling. So real quickly, what is Parker Dewey? Parker Dewey is an organization that was founded 7 years ago to create equitable pathways from college to career. So it is not a replacement for summer internships or full-time roles. It's not a newfangled organization that was created in response to COVID. We are a mission-driven organization. And by way of background, I spent my career in growth equity before launching Parker Dewey 7 years ago, and saw the challenges that financial services firms have, whether it's around how to effectively engage college students who might not be thinking about roles at their organization, might think venture capital is like Shark Tank and not have the technical chops, or think it's all about the technical skills, but are looking for ways to demonstrate their core skills, communication, problem solving, et cetera. What we did was we created the concept of the micro-internship to really help bridge those gaps from college to career. Again, creating equitable pathways so companies can identify, engage, assess, and ultimately hire individuals for summer internships and full-time roles, irrespective of their academic pedigree, while also providing valuable opportunities for college students and recent grads to explore different career paths, to demonstrate skills, to build valuable relationships. So to set the stage, what is a micro-internship? If we were together, I'd ask by a show of hands, and I know Allison knows what it is, but just to, again, set the stage, micro-internships are short-term paid professional projects completed by college students like the members of WAVE on behalf of busy professionals. Now, because it's financial services, we always get the questions, well, what about NDAs? Or we don't have projects like this. Everything is highly sensitive. Or can we really give a college student a project that's going to take 5, 10, 20 hours to do and expect it to be done well? The short answer is yes. Think about all of those projects that you or members of your team have on your own plates that you can't get to. There's just not enough hours in the day, or not the best use of time. Industry research. We are looking at a company in XYZ space. We quickly need someone to go figure out who's raised money, how much, different pricing models for other companies in the space, et cetera. You're not telling them what company you're looking at. You're simply giving them a research project. Or we need someone to help crunch a list. We're going to a conference next week, and one of the analysts or associates needs someone to go through the list so they can prioritize the time. Or on the HR side, we're trying to find candidates for an open position, either at our firm or at one of our portfolio companies. What a great opportunity to have a college student do that LinkedIn mining and other work to try to come up with a short list based upon those job descriptions. We all have these short-term we should and I shouldn't projects. Micro-internships are perfect ways to give them to highly motivated college students as a way to get work done. It also becomes a way, as I alluded to before, to engage, assess, and build relationships with individuals who could be your future hires. For the college student that may not have heard of Rourke Capital, that thinks to go do private equity, you have to go to a firm in New York. with a name they heard before. Well, guess what? Rourke is doing some incredible work down in Atlanta. So for the student from Atlanta who would love to return home, what a great opportunity to expose her to a firm like Rourke. A couple other things to note. Micro internships tend to be projects that require 5 to 40 hours to complete, tend to be due a few days to a few weeks out. So these aren't projects that you're posting today that you need done this summer or over winter break. These are projects that you or a member of your team need done right now. You set the price for each project. They tend to shake out about 200 to 600 bucks. 90% of that goes into the student's pocket. The 10% stays with Parker Dewey. That covers our cost of having the student on our books. So one of the questions that always comes up in financial services because of FINRA and other regulation is the students are not your employees. They're not your contractors. They're employees or contractors of Parker Dewey. What that means is the general counsel of one of the big investment banks said, it's the same as if you went into Kinko's. You have no formal relationship with that student. The student is on our books. And then, by the way, the students are all subject to NDA and assignment. Our NDAs have some real teeth. And should you work with a micro intern and decide she's amazing and you want to bring her in for a summer internship or full-time role, awesome. No temp to perm or conversion fees. What that means is we see real impact. Over 80% of students who have completed micro internships over the past 7 years come from underrepresented populations. We found it lowers the cost per hire anywhere from 40 to 80%. So companies are spending on average $7,000 to recruit and hire a college student. They're finding that through micro internships, they're saving anywhere from, again, 40 to 80%. And that ignores the value of the work the students are doing. And by the way, they also don't job hop. Less than 2% of them leave their first job within the first year versus 55% of all recent college grads who, again, leave in the first year. I'm going to turn it over to Allison to talk a little bit about why she saw the impact of this, why it works.
Great. Thanks, Jeff. Yes, and I'll be totally honest, right? You first get the note, you have these micro internships available, you look at your to-do list and you're like, oh my gosh, am I really going to go figure out what this college student should do? And I have to tell you, and when I show you the work product that we received back, you're going to be really amazed because it really did help. It helped. We ended up doing a project with our business development team. So it really helped them. They were short-staffed to be able to research some things that were further down on the list, but still very valuable. Of course, we love having access to more people. And it was really interesting, actually. We chose 2 women for the micro internship, but we ended up, I love Wave in general, just the brand equity that it gives us in this space. But some of the people that applied for the internship that we did not choose ended up applying for an externship at Rourke, and we ended up hiring them for that. So it was just another way to get our name out. And then, of course, the students super valued it and thought it was a great experience. They loved being able to put it on their LinkedIn and on their resume, and we worked on those bullet points. And I actually think the business development team ended up really loving the experience as a mentor as well. And that was one of the hidden values that came out. So if it's okay, Jeff, can I share what our person did, or did you want to?
You should. No,
okay.
You should.
Okay, great. So I am going to screen share my presentation here. So we worked with Jeff, and he's going to walk you through these steps of how to post and everything. But I just want to show you, this was the assignment that we gave during the briefing to these women, 2 college students. And it was great too to be able to hand select, because as Jeff was saying, we're in Atlanta, so we're not always that sexy choice of where someone wants to live. So to be able to look through their profiles and find someone that has some Atlanta roots or connection to us was great. So we said, hey, we want you to research this really big company for this sector. We'd love to see an overview of the company and all different components, an overview of the industry. Are there other competitors in this space, et cetera? And then we had 2 check-in points. One was an outline, is this what you're looking for? The next was slightly formatted, I would say. And then the end product is what I'm going to show you now. So, and we provided a template, of course, that made it look and feel like our company, but you're going to be amazed. So I'm going to quickly go through it, but here was her company overview. She even outlined investment strategies. She gave us how the housing sector was broken down, an analysis of the management team of, what is their geography? What services are they offering? And so as we met with them, we could not believe how thorough they were, how intelligent they were. And then another interesting fact was they had better tools than Rourke, based on their college access. So they had something called BizMiner. I don't know if anybody uses that, but the fact that they could go through and be able to use these other tools was amazing. So again, this was the final product, photos, timeline of the company, and even going above and beyond to share something that she thought was super unique in terms of their philanthropic giving and how that could align with Rourke's core values as well. So I just wanted to share that because I think when we think about college students, perhaps we don't understand like how dedicated they are to doing something to build their resume and what an amazing work product you can get. The other one that I didn't share, I shared this one. There was 128 citations in her project.
Oh my God.
So I know. So just so you know, and from start to finish, I think we briefed the second week of April and we had the final projects in 3 weeks.
Oh my God. Like I couldn't have done that one. I probably couldn't do that today, just to be honest. I mean, it's incredible. I mean, the students, these are motivated students. They're excited. They're doing it. Yeah, they're going to make a few $100, but they're really doing it to prove themselves to Allison and members of the team. I mean, question for you, like how much time did you or members of the team really spend on this as far as onboarding? Like, did you feel like it added to your workload or was it making their life easier?
Not at all. There was maybe a 30-minute onboarding that we did with both of them together to walk through, here's what we're looking for. Do you want to ask any questions? And then we did 2 more check-ins. And then I maybe answered a couple emails in between. But I will say we do stay in contact with both of them, just to say hi and that type of thing. And I have a call with the woman that did that project actually tomorrow, just to check in and see how she's doing in her work life, because she went into the investment banking side, but you just never know when someone might want to move over to private equity. So we've stayed in contact.
Well, and that goes back to your point that, look, it helps the members of the team, the investment professionals get help on this project. The student obviously got a great experience, but now you're continuing to build that pipeline, building that relationship with someone who, whether it's now or down the road, could be a future hire or LP or something else.
Yeah, absolutely. And I loved it so much that we're actually going to share this we hold a DEI roundtable every month for our portfolio companies so that we can share best practices. And we'll be sharing this opportunity with them, which I think they'll all jump on, as well as we're going to socialize this again within Rourke amongst other departments to see, who does need help, because this has reminded me of what a thorough job they do.
No, it's awesome. And it brings up an important point, which is, again, we're going to go through in a second, the tactics of how you actually go through posting a project, et cetera. But one of the things to think about is it's easy to introduce within organizations, whether it's a busy professional who's on your team, the individual that's in the office till 2 a.m. every night. What a great resource. One of the things we also hear is for some of the younger members of the team, people who might be 1, 2, 3 years out of college, what a great opportunity to have their first managerial experience. They value it as a perk, but they also see that a firm is giving them the opportunity to manage and step up. As Allison said, great opportunity for portfolio companies. I know I used to sit in board meetings all the time where we had all of these great ideas come up, but the management teams didn't necessarily have the bodies to go execute. Well, here's a great resource, or while they're looking to continue to build their teams, and then obviously to give back. So we're going to talk a little bit about, again, the Rourke case study. You saw the work that was delivered. So how does it all work? Well, this is designed to be easy. And again, coming from financial services, I thought of my own experience and the importance of it being simple. In short, post a project, select who you want, and the work gets done. So how do you actually go about doing that? Well, fortunately, we were able to create a portal specifically for members of WAVE with some of the projects that we know are the best practices, Projects like lead generation, prospect research, industry research, content creation, all of these 5, 10, 20, 30-hour projects that you have, all of them can be posted with a single click. Or you can create your own project. Again, similar to what Rourke did. So Rourke actually did 2 different projects. I mean, why don't you talk about, sorry, your posting.
Yeah, sure. So we posted something and then we ended up changing the project. And I think it just points out again, like the students are just so excited to do anything for you. And when we flipped it, they didn't mind. They were super flexible and excited about it. But yeah, I just wrote something really brief, and Jeff and his team are so easy to work with, and actually really good at prompting me to do things on time. And so we posted it, wrote it up and posted it, and it was as simple could be.
And again, if you use those templates I had on the prior page, and I include the link in the chat, these are all pre-crafted for you based upon best practices. If you have questions along the way, there's a contact us form. Fill out what you have in mind. Chances are we've seen it before, and we have an entire client success team that can help.
That's awesome.
Once the project is posted, students see the description. Now, what's great about it is for a firm like Rourke, I mean, you may not be as well known as a Goldman Sachs or a Blackstone or a KKR. Here's a great way to get in front of students that may not realize what an incredible opportunity. And again, through the relationship with Wave as Wave members, what we're able to do is feature your organization and your projects specifically to the Wave students as a way to sort of get a competitive advantage in engaging them. So the students see the project and they apply. And what's really important about this is you're not flipping through thousands of resumes or LinkedIn profiles, guessing who's going to be interested. You're not conducting hours of interviews trying to select. Every project has at least one short answer question, and you can ask other ones, and you'll see only those candidates who apply. And I pulled up Grace. I mean, Allison, how did you go through sort of selecting?
Yeah, so we went through, so going back to the Atlanta thing, you know, who are the target schools that seem to work for not necessarily just the financial industry, but for Rourke in general, of people that want to be in Atlanta. So looking through resumes for some sort of tie to the South. What's interesting about the woman that ended up doing the project that I just showed you is that UVA has been a target school of Rourke's for a really long time. So pre-COVID, campus visits at least twice a year, active with the professors, very like first name basis with the career office. And we didn't even have this woman in our database. So this opportunity to do this project is actually how we will be able to meet her and keep a relationship with her. So I just thought that was really interesting. And then, like I said, the woman at the bottom of this page actually, so she wasn't selected for this project, but she ended up applying to our 2-week externship and spent last summer with us a couple weeks before she headed off to her next internship. So it was interesting how even though we didn't select somebody, we still formed a relationship where she got to know, to your point, who is Rourke and what do they do? And, you know, maybe this is a firm I want to investigate a little bit more.
That I didn't know. I simply grabbed the screen grab of all those people who applied. That's great to hear.
Yeah.
And again, what's nice is these short answer questions, this tells you so much more than a resume. Like you can see things like attention to detail and are they taking it seriously, et cetera.
Exactly. Yes. So the questions and the answers were really important to who we selected and who we think would do a good job.
Once you select a student, you engage with them as much or as little as you want. And Allison, you talked before about the fact you did a quick kickoff call and then a couple of check-ins. We don't want to get in the way of this. So if you're an organization that uses Zoom or Teams, great, have a Teams call. If you use Slack, you can invite them to your Slack, or if you want to do things over email, great. Again, we want this to be as easy as possible for you. We're behind the scenes providing ongoing support. So should there be any hiccups or challenges, et cetera, no problem. We're here. We're happy to help. The reality is it happens less than 2% of the time. These students are inherently motivated to do an amazing job. They're excited about this opportunity. to help on these projects. What's also great about it is the students are oftentimes engaging faculty members and alumni. So again, I don't know if Grace did this at UVA, but we hear from students all the time that I went into my faculty's office hours and asked some questions and got some feedback. What a great way, if she's doing that, for Rourke now to be on the radar of a faculty member who may not have been aware, or an alum that may not have been aware.
That's a great point. And to your point about inherently motivated, the other interesting thing about their projects was I knew that finals were coming. And so even in our check-ins, we're like, school is first, exams are first. This is a little bit of feedback on your presentation, but don't, get stressed out about it. It's perfectly great the way it is. And then they both went back and did it, like incorporated all of the feedback. So they're just
amazing. Awesome. They're amazing. They're amazing. And again, we talk about, there's so much conversation around driving diversity in private equity and venture capital and financial services overall. This is how you do it. It's not giving them unpaid work. It's not hoping they're going to participate in the case competition or hoping the professor has them shortlisted. It's giving them real work that members of your team need done anyway. That's why this works, because they value that experience and it's accessible to all, not just kids from the fancy backgrounds or who are fortunate enough to be connected to the right professors. What's also great is you're getting valuable data and insights. I mean, I assume from the work, again, the fact that you're still engaged with the two students and some of the others, you're getting feedback on how they actually did from the manager. You're getting feedback on what schools you were able to reach. Again, UVA was on your short list, but maybe there were other schools that weren't yet on your list. Now you're able to start building that those relationships. And again, everyone wins. I mean, as Allison, as you talked to before, what a great way to build a relationship with a student that wasn't in your database, even though it was a focus school. We've heard from firms like Vistria and Capital Dynamics about their experiences. And ultimately, it leads to a competitive advantage both in getting that on-demand support from these highly motivated individuals, so your existing team can continue to operate at peak efficiency, but also a competitive advantage in recruiting. Companies, as we all know, are recruiting earlier and earlier for their summer internship programs. They're recruiting freshmen and sophomores for internships that are taking place next year, the following year. Well, here's a way to actually build those relationships. And it's not just showing up on campus and having artificial conversations, but when Grace is actually working on that project with Allison or a member of the team, it builds an authentic relationship and lets you access them early. So what now? Well, it's real simple. Post a project. I included the link in the chat. Takes about a minute to set up your account. We just need to know who you are, and then you can post your project. We have a whole bunch of these templates set up. They're all pre-crafted. Wave is actually for Wave sponsors. They're helping with some of the funding for it. So again, happy to fill you in on that if you're already a Wave Premier sponsor. It includes some funded micro internships as part of your package. If you're not, well, great opportunity to become a Wave sponsor, or you can just post projects as they come up. Think about those we shoulds and I shouldn'ts you have on your own plate. Think about your colleagues, members of the team who might be in HR, marketing, on the investment team, who have things come up where they just need an extra set of hands, or they're having trouble filling roles, or the portfolio companies that are looking to do more, sometimes with less. Let them know this is a resource for them. And then ask us. If you're not sure, reach out, use the contact us form on the page, send us an email. We are happy to help. We're obviously very, very passionate about this opportunity. We're huge fans of Wave. And every organization that's here, again, obviously focuses and is a believer in creating equitable pathways for women interested in financial services. We do too. We will do everything we can to be supportive, so let us know. But again, it's easy. We all have these projects on the plate. Give one of these college students a shot. Allison, anything you want to add to this?
No, I think you did such a good job. Just again, it was really easy to work with you, Jeff. So, that initial like trepidation of, oh my God, am I gonna do one more thing on my list, turned out to be like a wonderful outcome. And I'm glad that I didn't, say no, because sometimes I think it's easy to do that.
It is. It is. And that's, again, one of the things we see in financial services is, do we really have one of these projects? Are members of the investment team really going to let someone go do work like what we saw from Greystar? But with 7 years of data showing, you know what? They're going to do a great job. They're going to do a great job. Members of your team are going to be happy because they have this extra resource. And from a recruiting perspective, what a great way to build those relationships that could lead to the summer intern or the full-time hire. Any other questions from the audience? I guess we did a good job, Allison.
Either that or they're sleeping,
It
whichever.
might be. With my Jersey accent, I don't think anyone can sleep. We did get a question in the Q&A. Will we be sharing the deck? Yes, we will. I will see if I can actually drop a link in right now. I can't. Sorry, you see my email for a second. I will. We'll share the link to this afterwards. Sorry, I don't have it right here. How would you encourage ways to get internal senior support? Allison, I'll put that on you.
So internal senior support, I didn't really need senior support in terms of like Wave overall, and these micro internships came with our sponsorship. Our founder and president is very passionate about creating change within the industry. So they love Wave as much as I do. I think internally, I just took the time to have the conversations. You know, I went to different deal teams, and after like I kind of looked to see what people were working on, that's when I was like, oh, you know what, a good way to test this is with the business development team because it's a little less confidential. We also, by the way, had them sign a Rourke specific NDA just because that we wanted that extra protection, and that was really seamless too. So it really was just conversations and trying to help people brainstorm with them what to come up with versus just putting the work on them to come up with tasks. So just asking them certain prompt questions of what's something we can take off your plate? What's something, you know, that you want to do, but you haven't gotten to? And that seemed to work.
Yeah, and again, we're also, I think you gave a great example before, we're also happy to do webinars with you. If you want, or anyone here, if you're looking for ways to introduce it internally or portfolio companies, let us know. We're happy to do it with you. We have a ton of content. If you need email examples or anything else, we have a ton. And what we found is when you go to hiring managers with it and say, hey, do you have any projects like this? The answer almost without exception is yes.
And then to answer the, how is it expensed? Wave is expensed as a sponsorship. So that's how, you know, and the costs were folded in. I suppose if we did it extra ones, we would do that under recruiting.
And then the other thing we've also seen is some of the departments expense it direct. The average micro internship is $400 or $500.
Yeah.
So what we'll see is members of the business development team at some of the firms just put it on their corporate card under business development. Members of the portfolio companies just do it internally. And then again, we're happy to work with anyone here that wants to do it as more programmatically tied to campus recruiting or otherwise. I think that's it. Allison, we hope to get everyone out of here by the bottom of the hour. We did it. We're 1 minute over.
Okay, so, great. Well, nice to see you.
Thank you so much. Great to see you too.
Okay, thanks everybody.
We'll be sending the recording slides, et cetera, around. And again, please let us know if you have questions along the way.
Okay.
Thanks so much and have a great week.
Thanks, you too.